The commercial airline went down earlier today. Investigators are now scrambling to find the cause of this crash. The Boeing 777 jet, it took off from Amsterdam, was just 30 miles from the Russia-Ukraine border when flight trackers lost communication. The flight's final destination was Kuala Lumpur. Officials with Ukraine's Interior Ministry say all 295 people on board were killed. Video uploaded to the internet shows smoke filling the skies in the area when that plane went down. Ukraine's president says the crash was no accident at all, and claims terrorists fired a missile into the air and shot that plane down. Joining me live in the studio right now, Congressman Robert Pittenger. Congressman, thank you for being here, first of all, but a general reaction to what has happened today.
What a tragedy for the families of the victims, many of whom now we understand are Americans as well.
There's a lot of talk about Russia involvement in this. If Russia was involved, what do you believe the United States should do?
Well, the current concern to us is that the Russians have been supplying arms to the separatists in Ukraine. Have been a great cause of the instability, the uprising, the engagement by the Russians have been through the acts of these separatists there.
I want to play a quick interview with the president today, a soundbite with the president today in which he responded to what was happening there with this Malaysian Airlines flight. Let's listen to what he has to say.
Right now, we're working to determine whether there were American citizens on board. That is our first priority. And I've directed my national security team to stay in close contact with the Ukrainian government. The United States will offer any assistance we can to help determine what happened and why. And as a country, our thoughts and prayers are with all the families of the passengers wherever they call home.
Congressman, you've come out strongly against Vladimir Putin and his inner circle, saying that a tougher approach needs to be taken. What do you think specifically needs to be done?
Well, I'm not saying specifically that the Russians did this themselves, but they have been supplying arms to these separatists, and those arms are logically something that could have been used. I think the president has been really wanting to make a declaration, but has done it in a very timid way. He hasn't really given the Russians the type of focus and commitment from the American people and from the Europeans. The sanctions that he engaged in with this week were limited. They were greater. But there's even more that we could do to cause an impact and turmoil inside the Russian economy, to cause them to focus within. They have been our adversaries in Syria, in Iran, and now we have the caliphate in Iraq and in Syria, in Ukraine. These are serious issues, and we have been timid, regretfully, in terms of the President's, I believe, a very feckless foreign policy in addressing the Russians with what the responsibility is.
Yeah, I know you've talked in the past about maybe approaching it from more of an oil standpoint and trying to pressure them for the amount of oil that they give to the rest of the world, but maybe sanctions in that regard.
Sure. The Europeans are dependent 35% on natural gas from Russia. We need to be able to supply alternative fuels, energy to Europe so that they don't have this dependency and they can join with us in greater measure on these sanctions. That's the only way we're going to get their attention. It's not about sending troops in. I mean, Ronald Reagan brought the Cold War to an end, and the wall came down without firing a shot. He was very thoughtful and prudent in using economic sanctions and using other measures to cause the Soviet Union to collapse.
All right, Congressman, we have a lot more to talk about, and as this develops, we hope to talk to you more about this situation. Amy, back to you.